Hi, Ozark Electric. Hey, just up front, I'm going to tell you that if you hear some background noise, there's some grinding, there's some fasteners being put on the building project here at headquarters. It's a little bit behind. They've had a couple of setbacks, but it is continuing to go on. We've got our ice and water shield down, so we are in the dry. Now we'll work on and expect our folks to come and take care of the soffit and fascia. And then the roof will go on lastly. And so hopefully we can have that done by Thanksgiving. And so that's going on. So I apologize if you hear some background noise, but that's we're not going to stop them from the progress that we need them to get after. Next thing I want to talk to you about is it's been on the news, and if you're watching the weather, Hurricane Ian is preparing to make landfall down in Florida. Sometimes depending on how some of those track, I know we're paying attention to see if it's going to bring us any moisture into this part of the country because it doesn't take long, as all of you know, for us to go from being everything green and lush and vibrant to, oh my gosh, we're into near drought conditions. And so we could use the rain here. But I mentioned the hurricane and the weather because you all know that one of our cooperative principles is cooperation among cooperatives. And that lends to mutual aid type of events where our statewide agency is in contact daily with the states that will be impacted by the hurricane or any type of hurricane event as it makes landfall. And if they get the mutual aid call from any of those states that are affected into Missouri asking for linemen to go down and help, then we take a look at where we're at in our construction process. Are we caught up on some stuff? Can we afford to send guys down? This begins it's a different type of process when we have a winter storm coming up out of Oklahoma. And maybe other states are affected by other weather down south. Sometimes we have to take a look at, okay, if we're facing a storm of our own, it's really not advantageous for our membership to deplete our workforce complement and send them on mutual aid. So we'll retain them here. So we always take a look at that. I work very closely with my manager of operations, Steve Swearingen, and through his superintendents to take a look at some of those things before we make the call to do that. So we're keeping an eye on the hurricane and what mutual assistance or damage might be caused or asked for during that time. I want to visit with you. Supply chain issues are worsening. We've hit the increase in those costs to get that kind of stuff. And now the lead times are not, they're not weeks out, they're months out, even years out on some things. Our bigger digger trucks that set poles and do some of that stuff, if we were to order one, we're being told we could expect delivery no sooner than like 2025, 26. Some of those trucks are being scheduled out to 2028. So that becomes a challenge and a concern. Some of the materials that we use to take care of our system, and listen, I'm not just crying the blues for Ozark Electric. I'm telling you the entire utility and energy sector, whether you're a municipal or an investor-owned or cooperative, we're all facing these challenges to get material. And so certainly if you're going to be building or doing something, reach out to us, or if you're going to be on one of those other entities, give them a heads up. Call them and let them know what you're planning so that they can give you all the information that you would require to go ahead and begin that project, or put it on the shelf for a little bit and wait for some of those lead times to shorten so that you can be fully made aware. Okay. The cost of energy, it's also taking a hit during this time. And so I talked to you last month and told you we were going to start looking at some of those things to see how they affect our rates and our rate design, and to see if we're in a position to absorb some of those costs increases that are going to come out of generation, pass through into transmission, and then make it to the distribution level, which affects us. We will try extremely hard to absorb as much of that as we can and still make margins so that we can continue to do business as we do in the cooperative way without making it a punitive type of move. So I'll be learning and firming some of that up this month. and we'll be putting numbers together. And as soon as we make a decision, I'll use this format, and we'll use other avenues to inform you of what we will be doing along those lines. Fingers crossed and prayers going up that we are able to weather those increases that are being generated and passed on to us, to see if we can keep from passing them on to you. Okay. The last thing I want to talk about, it's fall weather. A lot of outdoor activities are going to be taking place. I know guys are going to be getting to the woods, like myself, do some archery and deer hunting, and ramping up for deer camps and everything else that's going on. One of the other things that I really love about fall is that in Southwest Missouri, we have an incredible tradition of our local communities, small towns, and cities doing incredible fall festivals. Get out there. I know the pandemic has kind of squashed some of that stuff over the last couple of years. And I know that those local vendors, and some of you may have booths at some of these places, and so I do encourage everybody to get out, go and support those folks, buy up early Christmas presents, go and have a cattleman's ribeye sandwich down on the square. And I'm talking about my local one here at headquarters at Mount Vernon Apple Butter Making Days. It's just an incredible showing of what small town America is like and what we love about being in the Ozarks. So that's my update for this month. Get out there and enjoy the fall weather, your students' activities, and also go and frequent those fall festivals at our towns. I'll talk to you next month. Thank you.